Friendo, Steve here.
Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. On today's episode, we're talking about Friday Night Smackdown with Cody Rhodes finally getting a big slap on The Rock, as the thumbnail says. I didn't have anything better, man. I just put whoop.
Yeah, I guess you could have gotten like Cody lays the smacketh down on The Rock, but that's a lot of words for a thumbnail.
That's a lot of words right there. You know, effective. Just whoop.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cody puts hands on The Rock after The Rock throws some shade over the intention or lack thereof of his parents to procreate again.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, oh my God, there's an advertisement on a wrestling mat, Larson.
Oh my gosh.
And the walls come tumbling down on the internet wrestling community.
Oh my gosh. Are people really upset about that?
Oh yeah, I saw some. Okay, so we'll just dive into that one. We'll just dive into that because yeah, I mean, I've seen some pushback on social media, sure. And the most convincing argument to me against it, because I'm for it. I'm like, hey, make that money. Get some Pizza Hut ringside. Get some zombies in. Well, zombies is where I draw the line.
No zombies, no.
Black light in your match is cool. The pitch black thing. I'm cool with that stuff, man. That was like a 6-minute match. Who cares?
Yeah. And visually, it was really interesting.
Visually, they did a good job. The thing about the Prime, on the mat, which I'd usually be cool with, is like I saw somebody took 4 iconic WrestleMania moments.
Yeah, and put the thing on there.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks kind of goofy. But in the end, like, well, it'll all just sort of bleed into the
You'll get used to it.
You'll get used to it.
Here, exactly. the one convincing argument I heard against it is that when they put ads in the middle, especially in the middle of the ring, is that the canvas gets slippery.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No, and so, you're worried about the well-being and the health of the competitors in the ring, especially when they're doing all these crazy moves.
Yeah.
You don't want a slippery surface that could lead to injury. That's the only convincing argument that I've seen against it. Yeah, you can put the Prime Bottle logo on the mat and all these famous WrestleMania moments, but guess what? When it happens this year, by the time the main event rolls around, you're just gonna be used to it. It's just there. It's part of the ring. It just is.
Yeah.
When you growing up in the 80s here in the States, I don't know how long they've been doing it on football uniforms, around Europe, having, the ads on there. But in the 80s, growing up, even the 90s, I couldn't imagine baseball, basketball teams having ads on their uniform. They all got them now. There's ads all over the court. Sometimes they're there in person. Yeah. Sometimes they put them in for the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's just the way things are.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, man. Like I'm sorry, but we watched, if you remember Triple Mania in 2020, number one, AAA, they've got ads all over the place, and it's kind of awesome. Because honestly, it's sort of like it's like a culture capsule. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Bardol, what the hell's that? Oh, it's motor oil.
Yeah.
And like, there's like, a truck. They had like an old truck in 2020, for the Bardol oil thing, and they used it in the death match.
Yeah.
It does not bother me at all. I hope that they load it up with more ads, because just one giant one in the center is a bit glaring. But if you put a bunch of other shit on there, it'll probably be through. But when they did the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and it was all branding, I was cool with that. It was nice, bright, colorful. I thought it looked cool, to be honest with you.
You know what they should do is they have the Prime in the middle. That's for all PLEs. And then whoever it happens to be the sponsor of that particular show,
yeah,
give them the 4 corners.
Mm-hmm,
typically the 4 corners get ads in them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess that'd be Snickers for WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah. Slim Jim should probably get some love there too.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You give them the 4 corner spots. Prime apparently get the center ring real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's and you quibble about how everything has to be monetized these days. That's a fair argument, but if you're going to do that writ large and talk about how that's just the way it is everywhere.
Yeah, right.
But to single out wrestling as, I know Imperium says the mat is sacred. It's really not. It's real estate that they could make money off of, and like I said, the only convincing argument I heard against it is the safety of the wrestlers. Otherwise, it's no different. Boxing's had ads in the middle of the ring forever. MMA has as well. You watch any sports broadcast in the States, there's ads everywhere. I only see a whole lot of people arguing that shouldn't be the case.
It's a little on the shocking side that it took this long for them to do that. I know Vince was super against it, which, is for all of his massive, massive shortcomings and faults. And, I kind of appreciate that he wanted to keep that aspect of it kind of pure. But like whatever, it's the modern times. This is what we do. I got to let the beast in real quick. Go ahead and give the final statement on this.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think I think we kind of summed up our feelings about the Mayor Pete here mentions that AEW's had DraftKings on their mat for over a year. It's just the nature of how business is done these days, and you could argue about that point. But if you're going to do that, again, argue about it, wholesale. Not just in the case of a wrestling ring. Just about every other wrestling company in the world that I could think of either does or at some point has had ads on the mat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to get that awesome bit where Gunther gets in the ring, looks at that Prime bottle in the middle of the ring, and get just utterly offended by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that'll be entertaining, especially if he has a match against Logan Paul while that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That could be some good stuff.
Zondo says, won't this make them have to blur the mat in the future if they lose a sponsorship? I doubt that. They probably have some sort of future-proofing language
you would
in
think
the
that's
contract.
all language in the contract. That just because they lose a sponsorship, I don't necessarily know what that entails.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have to blur the logo out.
Yeah, I think that'd be nothing. Anyways, let's talk about the main event angle.
Sure.
I kind of feel like they need to start doing these, like keep them at the beginning of the program, because Rock's gonna rock. He's gonna do his shit, and it's gonna take forever. And everybody else needs to adjust. This is the main event angle.
It's a double-edged sword because you have beginning. He runs long. You got to cut the stuff from the rest of the show. And if you want to save the length of everything else in the rest of the show, you put him at the end. Then he's got to rush the closing, kind of punctuating point.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I know. I guess what they should do is have The Rock kick off the second hour.
Okay. All right. You could do that. I don't know that there's any good way. I'll be honest with you. The only good way to do it.
Give The Rock the whole second hour.
I'm sorry, but that dude is entertaining. He's entertaining. When that man on his little cowboy promo said,
off is the direction that you can fuck. Yeah.
Off is the direction in which you can fuck. I laughed out loud on that one.
That's funny.
Let's talk about the meat of the segment, though. So, yeah, Cody wanted to get his hands back on Rock, and Rock gave him an opportunity to do that when he said, "You were a mistake." Kind of a tepid insult, if you will. But Cody got his slap on the Rock after an extended promo sequence. I like that they gave Seth Rollins a bit of a sack and something to say and something to do. He accepted on behalf of Cody the match on night one, that main event's night one. Roman is sort of like, he needs to step up a bit. I understand last week he was annoyed with The Rock taking the spotlight, but by and large, because The Rock hadn't acknowledged him yet. The Rock acknowledged him at the end of the last SmackDown. This week, Roman seemed totally cool with The Rock. He was fine with it. They were a bit more in tandem, but Rock still took the spotlight. And I want them to start giving us a bit, and maybe this is, again, the long game situation where we'll get more Rock Roman, but Roman is sort of fallen into the background here, and that's my only complaint about what we saw on Friday.
You like to hope that that's intentional and it'll serve a storyline purpose at some point down the road. For the time being, it seems like Roman's content kind of taking a back seat to The Rock because The Rock acknowledged him. That's all that Roman really wanted, seemingly, is validation in the eyes of The Rock. After that, all right, go ahead, carry the load, Wayne. You know, and for the most part, he's laughing in the background. It was good to see Seth. The crowd sing his theme while all four of them are in the ring.
Because he didn't get an entrance theme.
No,
that was kind of annoying.
He's the one that accepted on behalf of himself and Cody, and he got right in the face of The Rock.
Yeah,
and far too often since the Rumble, Seth has kind of looked like a dork, pleading with Cody to challenge him after winning the Rumble. Telling Cody, "I got your back. do you have mine? And then Cody not even answering the question, changing the subject. And yet Seth still stands by him. Could there be some ulterior motives in play? We don't know yet. Wait to see how this all pans out. And whether the fact that Cody will, without a doubt, not have Seth back at WrestleMania Night 2, that's going to lead to Seth doing something he is not exactly planning on now during Cody's match.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on here, a lot of moving parts, and it seems like people could have varying motives that we are not exactly aware of yet. We still don't know if The Rock is genuine in acknowledging Roman or sleeper agent. We don't know.
Yeah.
You can find clues to either way,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there wasn't a whole lot in terms of new. Like, they accepted. We knew they were going to accept. They accepted, and now that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, look, man, I think ever since The Rock turned heel, I think they're still sort of figuring out to a degree what the main sort of brunt of his character is going to be. Because like first week of heel Rock, it was clearly 1998. We got a little bit of the board of directors guy. So like, I still think they're kind of figuring out. Let me ask you this. There's something interesting that the way Rock phrases a certain thing that I'm curious about. If you've considered, if you've noticed, when he talks about Seth Rollins' world title, he doesn't necessarily say, I'm going to make sure you lose it. He says, I'm going to make sure that title goes away. And when he says that, he always references that he's on the TKO board of directors. Now, I take it at face value as, Seth, I'm going to make sure you lose that title.
Yeah.
Because you're getting in my business. Maybe even I'm going to bloodline that title. Is there any chance that he's hinting at title unification or just the undisputed titles, retracting the title, which I think is probably a bad idea, but do you make anything of that, or is just the Rock's weird phrasing?
I mean, I would take it on face value just going into it, because the threat of Seth being stripped, The Rock and or Bloodline costing him that title against Drew, adds some stakes and some weight to his match at Mania. But I guess you can't dispel the notion, given the phrasing, even though maybe it's probably not intentional, that The Rock is alluding to making that title disappear altogether.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And if that's the case, I don't know why. The only reason I can think they might do that, if it's something they're considering, if they're going to have Cody as the undisputed WWE champion defend his title on both Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. Which it's Cody, so I could see that being the case. Which there's a case to be made for. I mean, the whole reason for that title in the first place was because Roman wasn't around. If you then have a champion who's around,
consolation title, Steve, come on.
Okay, it's a consolation prize. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably much ado about nothing. I just find it interesting that The Rock keeps on phrasing it that way. But at the same time, he keeps on saying The Rock owns it all. The Rock, all of his catchphrases. And that means I'm your boss. And it's like,
he also said he's not saying, he also doesn't say I'm a member of the board of directors. He says I'm the director of the board.
Yeah.
Which makes it sound like he's sitting at the head of the table of the board of directors, which is not the case.
There's a term for that. It's chairman of the board, not director of the board.
Oh, yes, you're right. He's on the board of directors, not director of the board.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of funny phrasing going on there. But, man, when he said, Pharaoh, come here, Pharaoh. Don't call that dog Pharaoh. Call him shithead. My God. I laughed out loud. I really did. Pharaoh, come here, Pharaoh. Don't call that dog Pharaoh. Call him shithead.
Yeah, when The Rock has the flexibility to cuss on these social media promos.
Oh, it's awesome.
The level of trash talk feels like it stepped up quite a bit.
It's so juvenile,
yeah.
But because he's a bad guy and he can curse on these little social media things, It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Well, he's standing there, I guess, at either like some sort of cattle auction place or a rodeo stadium.
And he's got his pants
hat.
are like kind of hiked up a little bit. Like he looks dorky as shit.
He's got the huge belt buckle. Yeah. I know. He's got his merch shirt tucked in.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it's hilarious. Cut off.
I know. It's something else. Yeah, these social media promos he's been doing have been, like the last one, although it was 21 minutes, filled in a massive plot hole.
It did, yeah.
So somebody needed to explain that. I'm happy they did.
Yeah.
And the one prior to SmackDown on Friday just seemed like, all right, let's just get creative with 10 minutes of crap talk,
Yeah, right.
About Cody. But so much of this, yeah, you're right. So much of this feud right now is seemingly so focused on Cody Rock versus Cody Roman that you'd think at some point they got to pivot to put the focus squarely on the two competitors who could be challenging for the top title in WWE Night 2 of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You think at some point that's got to happen.
Yeah, Champ Fear and Loathing with a good reference here. Says Norm Macdonald says The Rock is the chairman of the board, BORED.
Oh yeah.
God, that's such a good bit.
That's an outstanding clip from Conan O'Brien.
It is.
So good.
Yeah, so let's talk about other stuff that happened. Let me ask you this. So we had the whole segment that opened the show, Logan Paul debuting the Prime logo in the ring. Prime now the Prime sponsor of WrestleMania, the center mat sponsor he referred to it, I believe.
Yeah.
Of course,
for all PLEs.
Of all PLEs, yeah. His business partner, KSI, shows up. He eats an RKO, does a great job selling it. Randy Orton puts over the Prime. And then we get a tag match. Grayson Waller, Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. At the end of that match, as Orton and Owens are celebrating their victory, Logan Paul comes up, takes them both out. What looked like was going to be a solo deal between Logan Paul and Randy Orton. Kevin Owens is still out there with a claim at Logan Paul. You got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory in that mix with maybe a little bit of tension between those two. Any chance these five are the United States Championship match, or do you still think it's going to be a solo deal?
I would think at least something involving all five of them be more a 6-man tag match, maybe in the build up to WrestleMania. You get Logan, you get Theory, you get Waller on one side, you get KO, Orton, and I don't know, LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other side, AJ takes LA Knight out of that. Maybe something along the lines of if the face team wins, I don't know, you can put a U.S. title shot on the line somehow. And go from there. Or they can just use that as a build to, without a stipulation attached to it, to the U.S. title match itself. It could be a triple threat. They could do, a 4, 5, 6-man match. Honestly, don't know.
Given that the Intercontinental Championship is going to be, the contender is going to be decided tonight. By the way, does it seem clear that it's going to be Chad Gable? Because Cody gave him the stamp of approval, and they did this whole video package for social media. Kind of feels like it's going to be Chad Gable, right?
Seems kind of likely, yeah.
If that's the case, what are the odds that he beats Gunther at Mania?
What they got to do is he's got to start that gauntlet tonight. Chad does. Has to run through everybody. They're going to do the story they should have done over the last, 6-8 months. They're going to do it all in one night, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to have an hour-long gauntlet match tonight where he's going to last the entire way and win it. And that's going to make up for a lack of story for him for the last 6 to 8 months.
Well, he wore his suit 2 weeks ago.
I'm aware.
And he started ranting about his kid again.
Yeah.
About his overly emotional child. But man, it'd be great. What they really should do is he goes through all this, right? He goes through the gauntlet. Maybe, Gunther's like, you must go through my other men now. Kaiser, they do a handicap, right? Kaiser and Ludwig versus Chad Gable. He gets through all that. And then at Mania, it's just a squash as Gunther completely kills him.
Yeah.
Like 13 seconds.
13 seconds. Powerbomb. Full body pin.
I really don't want it to be Gable, man. I think that the world of him as a competitor, I really do. But goddamn, man, you build this guy up for 700 days or whatever it is, and like don't want it to be him. I know a lot of people want it to be Gable, and I get that. I respect that. I appreciate that. I don't want it to be Gable. It's gonna be a good match.
It's going to be a good match. Here's the thing. They could have done it creatively where it would have been satisfying for it to be Chad Gable to beat him. After the losses he suffered early to Gunther, he beat him by countout. If they did a thing where they actually spent those weeks and months telling a story about Chad Gable building himself back up to be the guy to beat Gunther, then yes, it would have been satisfying. They haven't done it at all. That's why it feels unsatisfying, not because it's Chad Gable specifically. Chad Gable's got the wrestling chops to be the person to beat Gunther.
He's got the ingredients, yeah.
But from a creative standpoint, they haven't done anything to make me think Chad Gable is the guy.
Here's my thing too. I guess a bit of a caveat. If this version of Chad Gable remains after, let's say he wins at Mania, which I hate. Yeah. If that version of Chad Gable remains after he's won the Intercontinental Championship, no Alpha Academy. I still want to call it American Alpha.
American Alpha, I know.
No Alpha Academy, no Maxine, no Otis, no hanging out with the Creeds, none of that stuff. He basically turns into Kurt Angle wrestling machine guy, while still, showing the personality like Kurt Angle did. But like, if it's like super match machine guy afterwards, cool, okay, fine.
He can't be a comedy act though.
None of that comedy shit, man. None of that comedy shit.
Well, not relying almost exclusively on the comedy shit.
Right, primarily a wrestling machine.
Kurt Angle, wrestling machine, had the integrity, intelligence, and intensity.
Very good.
Taken seriously as a main eventer, but when put in comedic segments, always shined.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That was just one aspect of his character, but far too often Chad Gable is exclusively his character.
This is a good point here. Forgotten Media here in Twitch chat says you can kind of tell they're trying to recover the story considering it was supposed to be Brock versus Gunther. Let's assume for a second that it was supposed to be Brock versus Gunther. Gunther was going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that tells me that he's going to win this one too. Continue that. Because he's got to go to Berlin with something in the main event.
Yeah, well, he's either got to go to Berlin defending something or winning something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Now, if he's challenging for, say, the World Heavyweight Championship doesn't go away, he faces Drew for that title. Could win it there. That's a huge deal.
There's so much going on with that. I mean, that's why you kind of need that World Heavyweight Championship.
I know.
There's so many things going on. You got Punk still out there after whatever SummerSlam or whatever. You got the Money in the Bank still. There's a lot going on with that title that like they can't just take it away. It's just got to be Bloodline helping out Drew McIntyre, and Cody's nowhere to be found, so Seth comes after him after the draft.
You think so?
That's what my guess is. And then, of course, Cody beats Seth again.
Wow.
Fourth time. Oh, man. Anyways, before we continue on with our SmackDown recap, let's go ahead and pay some bills, Larson.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Steve, I got a couple questions for you. You ready?
Yeah, what's up?
What would you do if you lived on the Kota Ibushi schedule and could give yourself an extra hour to your day? Or what about this? What if you could bend the reality of our universe and you could give yourself unlimited time? How would you use it?
I mean, dude, unfortunately for me, I'm neither Kota Ibushi nor do I have the ability to manipulate time and space so I can grant myself unlimited time. So like everyone else, if there's something special or important I want to fit into my schedule, guess what? I got to make it a priority, Larson.
Yep, I'm with you there. And I've talked about it extensively before, but in my mid-20s, I was having a lot of trouble prioritizing what was important to me due to severe anxiety. And therapy helped me figure out what mattered to me most, so I could make an effort to put those things first and foremost in my life.
Absolutely. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
That's right. So learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/raw.
Let's just talk about SmackDown now. The Rock shows up at the arena. He puts on a cowboy hat, takes a swig of his energy drink. So he's got his own energy drink. What is it? Zoa? Is it Zoa?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Zoa.
I think I've had that before.
Have you now?
A long time ago.
We'll have to do like a Rock versus Logan Paul energy. I don't really want to drink all, like, doesn't the Prime have like a bunch of caffeine or something?
I looked into it, and it
not as much as
what
people
I saw.
claim?
No, I saw some outrageous number, and it's not what they have advertised on.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
So
anyway,
200 milligrams, which isn't, a little amount, but it's not.
It's not like
500 or something.
Panera lemonade, huh?
Apparently not. No.
Okay.
Why did they put caffeine in lemonade? I still don't get that.
Man, get you a pep in your step after you have your lemonade, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, Rock shows up, cuts to Roman and Heyman walking with security, and then Cody's walking, and Seth shows up. He's there too. Aldis meets them, escorts them with security. So everybody's locked into place here, or so he thought.
They want no physical altercation, apparently.
Right, exactly. So anyways, that brings Logan Paul out to the ring, and he's getting wutted by the crowd. The crowd was pretty decent, I thought, doing the diarrhea, Dwayne. If any crowd that's willing to buy into that shit, you're really getting into the show here.
You got that right.
So anyways, he lists off his history. He says, 2 years ago, I wrestled my first WrestleMania here in Dallas, and tonight you're going to be the first to witness history unfold between your eyes. He says, if you know anything about me, I'm a conqueror. He says, I didn't join WWE just to take part. I joined WWE to take over. He says, look at me. Best rookie year of all time. United States champion. Most viral athlete in this company. Everything I touch turns to gold. Nobody can get attention like me. He says, I'm successful, and I'm not talking about my title. I'm not talking about my massively successful YouTube channel or my podcast or my boxing matches. I'm not even talking about my 5-star wrestling matches. I'm talking about the thing wait a second, Larson. I don't recall. Did we give him any 5 stars? Any 5-star matches?
No, I don't know if ourselves or those other guys has ever given Logan Paul a 5-star match.
All right. Well, maybe somebody else did. Anyways, he says, I'm talking about the WWE, the thing you guys love. Ever since I debuted in Dallas, we've broken every record, highest viewership, every PLE sold out, biggest deals. He says, you don't get it. I'm the secret sauce. In the WWE, business is booming. One could say that the WWE is in its prime. He says, Dallas, do I have a surprise, y'all? And then a big hunk of canvas is pulled back to reveal a Prime logo on the mat. And he's like, no, Dallas, you're not dreaming. My company, Prime Hydration, is partnered with WWE, first ever center ring sponsor of this great organization, starting at Mania and every premium live event from now on. He says, I'm glad you're just as excited about it. The crowd was just like, huh? What?
Yeah, it's like, all right.
They didn't really react, to be honest with you.
No.
And then he says, I'd like to welcome to the ring another social media megastar and my partner, KSI. So he jumps the barricade. He's sitting ringside. He comes in. So a photographer's about to snap their picture, and then I hear voices in my head. Randall Keith Orton's music hits. No Randy on the ramp. He shows up from the crowd, tries to RKO Logan Paul, but Paul pushes him off, gets out of the ring. KSI is staring at Logan Paul outside of the ring, and Logan's like, get out of there, get out of there. And KSI, he's frozen with fear. He knows what's coming.
Yeah,
Orton drops him. Yeah. Orton drops him with an RKO. Good sell from KSI.
Yeah.
And then Orton grabs some Prime, says, it's pretty good. He says, very good. And then he pours the rest of it on KSI's front area, which is wonderfully juvenile in that moment.
Yeah, it was. But Randy's not just there to dump Prime over KSI's front area. No, he has a match. He's tagging with Kevin Owens against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Yep, that's right. Yeah. They hit a pop-up RKO.
Yeah,
Owens
that was fun. That was
and
cool.
Orton does on Theory to get the win. That was fun. It was a fun tag match.
Yeah, no, it was a fun match.
Afterwards, Logan Paul slides in the ring and takes them both out with double clotheslines. And then he gets the brass knuckles looking to hit Randy with them. Instead, Randy evades, gets the brass knuckles from Logan Paul, takes a swing. Logan Paul ducks, but in the process, Orton almost hits Kevin Owens.
Ooh.
He puts on the brakes, and they're like, all right, you cool? Yeah, we're cool. So everything's cool.
Everything's cool.
But it was close to not being cool.
Not cool. After that, we had a Bailey interview, And Kayla asks, how are you feeling after Dakota turning last week? And she's like, I'm hanging on by a thread, man. Things have felt off between us for so long, but I never imagined we'd get to this point. And even though they've been fake to me for months now, I keep questioning myself. What was real? Was our friendship real? Did they really believe me, or were they just using me? She said, last week, Dakota used our history against me. When I was at my most vulnerable state, she manipulated me, tricked me, and I fell for it. And then Kayla asked a good question. She's like, a lot of people think you're a scumbag. What do you think about that? And
you had it coming.
You had it coming. And she's like, I made a lot of enemies over the past years. And honestly, some of that stuff I just did because I liked the attention. I was trying to get to the top. But most of the things I did for Io and Dakota. I'd have done anything for Damage Control. And I didn't care who I offended in the process. But it's all backfiring on me. I'm paying for it. Everything I built is backfiring on me. And I'm all alone. And then she asks her how it affects her preparation for WrestleMania. So the good thing is it made me more focused. Damage Control made the biggest mistake of their lives, underestimating me. No, they made the biggest mistake of their lives by having Dakota turn on her before WrestleMania, Larson.
You got that right.
Yeah, man. She says, right. I built Damage Control with all my heart, and I'll do everything in my soul to break them. And I thought it was a good interview, but I liked what happened next.
Yeah, so next, we are backstage, and Naomi's watching Bayley's interview on a monitor. Bianca steps in. And she asked Naomi, why are you watching this? Why are you watching Bayley whine and cry? She did this all to herself. And Naomi's like, I feel kind of bad for Bayley. And Bianca says, why? Bayley created Damage Control and it backfired. Bayley's in the same position that I was last year. I wouldn't feel too bad. And Naomi goes, I know what it feels like to have your group fall apart. And it's not cool. And Bianca says, Naomi, you weren't here. You didn't see what Bayley did to me. And if you were here, Bayley would come after you too.
From the looks of it, Naomi was too busy hanging out in the 32nd century because she looks so futuristic.
Oh,
she has like the LED stuff under the hair, and the hair looks all futuristic. Her branding is so on point. It's amazing.
I know.
Number two, I love this because it's like my only thing about it is that, goddamn, man, this is when you need the fly on the wall stuff, bring that camera way back and let's watch Naomi watch this thing. And then Bianca comes in like it's an actual candid conversation as opposed to cameraman just right there.
I know. Cameraman in there for some reason. I know.
But I love the meat of this.
Yeah, me too.
Bianca's like, I got no sympathy for this person. You weren't around. Like, you don't know. And Naomi stands firm. She's like, no, I feel for her. How do you see this? Because a lot of people were thinking Bianca versus Tiffany, and now maybe they're roping Bianca and Naomi into. How do you see this going?
Way back when we did our early WrestleMania predictions, you said that you thought it was going to be Bianca and Jade taking on Asuka and Kairi for the tag titles, which is a great idea. Hats off to you, Steve. And they've had in the Rumble interaction between Bianca and Jade. Thought maybe that could still happen. Either they would have a match where they would team up to take on Damage Control, especially after Jade confronted them backstage. I guess it could. Here's what it could be. A couple things. If they want to do the tag title match, it could be Bianca and Naomi. It gets to the point where Bianca starts to have some measure of sympathy for Bayley after everything Damage Control will do to her by the time WrestleMania rolls around. Or they could do a trios match where they have Bianca, Naomi, and Jade take on Asuka, Kairi, and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I sort of thought that too. It'd be kind of weird not to have the tag titles on the line, but maybe they could put the tag titles on the line and figure out a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is merit to if the concern is Jade isn't quite ready for what is required in the ring for a sustained solo push. You put her in there in a multi-person tag match. And I can't think of anybody better than Naomi and Bianca. And then on the other side of the ring, you got Damage Control to really be the ones to help showcase Jade's strengths and cover up any potential weaknesses she might have given her experience in the ring. So I think that's a possibility. They could even do a thing where, if Bianca's really not interested in helping Bailey, and she wants to be divorced of it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you still split off against Tiffany. I don't know. I don't know where this is
I
going.
guess you could still do Bianca and Tiffany, and then maybe do Jade and Naomi against.
I was thinking that too as well.
Austin
And again,
Kyrie.
if the issue is Jade and the experience thing, then again, having Naomi as a tag partner, my goodness, the presentation on both of them is just, my goodness, off the charts. They both look like superheroes.
Yeah.
So, I think that there's a lot you could do there, and again, just similar to the U.S. title thing, I don't really know where they're going with it. Yeah. I don't, and I kind of like that about that,
Yeah, same here. So after that, we get Bobby Lashley, boom, 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 dun, 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 against Karrion Kross. Not surprisingly, this match did not have a real finish. AOP interfered. Huge brawl breaks out. Ends with Kross hitting Lashley with his finisher.
This was a bit of a stinker. Not gonna lie.
You got yeah.
That match, I was not a fan. Man, those dudes have like no chemistry.
Yeah, and like you could see where this finish was going. They're not gonna have either of them lose. You just knew the interference finish was going to be the thing, and it's so unsatisfying because it's feel like this feud has kind of been spinning its wheels for several weeks.
I'll be honest with you, I get what they're trying to do with Final Testament. I do. It don't work. And sometimes it's just finding a thing. It's finding a thing to make it work. Yeah. And they just haven't found that thing yet. I get that. Because I like Kross, man. I like him. I think he's still a little, I don't know, stumbly bumbly in the ring a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be there with him. I really do.
Yeah.
But I know Bobby ain't the problem. You know what I mean? Like, this match was not, it was kind of clunky.
It was a little clunky.
And on top of that, I guess the Pride is what they're going to call them. This is kind of beneath them. Like, they just need to be done with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I do appreciate, so like there was a social media post that Montez, I think, posted where there's like a promo with Karrion Kross trying to like split up the Pride, saying, oh, Montez, this should be your thing. And if they're going to run with that on TV, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see that in the coming weeks. I hope we do, because that makes it a little bit more interesting. Karrion Kross's whole thing is, I change people. I can eat the loss, but in the long run, I change people. And if the idea is I'm gonna sow some division here between the members of the Pride, then great. But I don't know where they're going with Final Testament on TV.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And it's not, so far, it's not really clicking. But I hope that changes.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because there's a lot of potential for something interesting there. You know.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And as of yet, Final Testament haven't found their chemistry together.
Right.
You know, and maybe it's because they haven't had enough opportunity for them to like interact on camera beyond going out and attacking Lashley and the Street Profits. There's like, they had a couple of those vignettes where Kross was doing a majority of the talking, with Ellering doing some and Scarlett doing some of the punctuation in it, but like, we need more. We just need more. We need to understand their dynamic.
There needs to be some sort of like statement moment.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know what that is. Maybe they find a way to maybe they isolate, they somehow, it's cheesy pro wrestling. So like they trap the rest of the faction and they isolate like Dawkins, or they isolate Tez, and they all, just wreck the shit out of them. And that leaves Tez on the outside being like, where were you guys? Well, we were trapped. You guys couldn't have got out of that situation. They need some big moment that just is lacking right now. Some big moment of heat that really gets the crowd like, oh, these dastardly bastards. Because up until now, it's like, oh, wow, that's cool. AOP's back, and they're doing their powerbomb thing.
Yeah.
It's just there's not a lot going on there, and I feel like they need a statement moment as opposed to sort of some tepid matches,
Tepid matches with predictable post-match scrums,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
They need a moment where Final Testament actually feels threatening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
And we haven't seen that yet.
Like they're willing to cross the willing to cross the line.
Karrion says, "What line am I willing to
Cross. Forgotten Media once again here says, just get Cross doing his amazing Jesse Ventura impression. See if that...
There you go.
Imagine if he just starts talking like Jesse Ventura. He shows up in the tie-dye and the crazy hair and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe that's why he's growing his hair out.
It'd be super confusing. It'd be really confusing. But I would like it.
It would be pretty awesome. So then we got Dragon Lee. He's walking backstage. He's on his phone. Electra Lopez Santos step up to him and says, you think you're going to be the next Rey Mysterio? And then Humberto Carrillo steps in with Garza and says, you're just another wannabe. And Santos tells him, Rey and the NWO, they're in the past, dead and gone. The present, future are legado. Dragon Lee, you're nothing. So Dragon Lee shoves Santos, and then Garza shoves Dragon Lee to the floor. So Dragon Lee just got bullied backstage by Legado.
Yeah, none of them were being a star.
No,
man. He got bullied like a high school. They should have put him in a locker.
Could have.
Yeah.
Could have.
Anyways, after that, we had Tiffany Stratton versus Mi Chin. Mi Chin's going through a bit of a crisis of confidence here because she keeps on eating these L's. She tries to go for a Styles clash, but Stratton reverses that into a vicious Alabama slam and then follows with a moonsault for the win. Tiffany Stratton, she's really coming along in that ring, man.
Then we got emo AJ Styles here.
His guns are huge.
Yeah, he's in great shape.
His arms are massive.
Yeah, they are. They are. So he's addressing why he flew all the way to Australia just to attack LA Knight. And he explains why. He says, LA Knight, you walk around here, like you own the place, but in reality, you don't deserve to be in the same locker room as AJ Styles. Actually thought your shtick was funny until you had the audacity to steal my moment at my expense. I understand this is a cutthroat place to be, so let me break it down. So that you, LA Knight, can understand it. You're overachieving, under-talented, a loudmouth, in desperate need of a humbling, and I am the phenomenal choice to do the job. And they cut to LA Knight watching this on a monitor. He takes the chair, and it starts to beat the TV up with the chair. And he throws the chair down on the ground and starts to beat it again while talking trash to AJ and the TV.
Yeah, let's see if you're watching now. Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious. It was just LA Knight walking around with a chair. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to get involved in the U.S. title stuff, right? Like, this is going to be like a blood feud heading into WrestleMania?
Seems like it. Let me ask you what the better feud is, LA Knight versus TV or Dijak versus Tree?
Oh, man. I feel like a TV, is like a squash match. You try to beat up a tree? Good luck with that. You're barely going to make a mark. Unless you get a chainsaw.
Or axe.
Right.
Traditional wrestling weapons are not going to do much against Tree.
Even an axe, man, I guarantee you. Try cutting down a tree with it. Like, try actually doing that.
Oh, yeah. It takes a lot of effort. Yeah,
probably a lot of time, Chainsaw, who knows what's going to happen with that? I wouldn't trust myself with a chainsaw. Motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
Motherfucking chainsaw. Come and get it. After that, we had LA Knight beating up a TV. And then Tyler Bates backstage with Pete Dunne playing some 2K24. Tyler Bate is playing. Pete Dunne walks in, and then Bate says, Mania's coming up. Maybe we should get him more reps in the gym. I'm going to go talk to Aldis about getting another shot of the tag titles.
Because Pete Dunne's to stand there quiet, and so Tyler Bate thinks he's judging him for playing.
He's like, maybe we should be getting more reps in the gym. And then Pete Dunne just sort of looks at him, and he's like, I'll go talk to Aldis about our WrestleMania. And then Dunne sort of shrugs and starts playing a little bit of the video game.
Then we got Angel Garza versus Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee gets the win here via roll-up. The finishing sequence of this was pretty good. And then afterwards, Legado hits the ring and starts beating up on Dragon Lee, and then hits him with the triple team powerbomb. Yeah. And then after that, we got Damage Control backstage. Dakota says, oh, boo-hoo, Bailey. You say you put your heart into creating Damage Control, but let's be honest, I've always been the brains. And Kyrie says, if you were smarter, you would have seen it coming faster. Asuka then says, it was easy to manipulate you, and it always has been. Io says, you were never part of our vision. It was Io's era from day one. Dakota concludes by saying, you say you want to tear us apart? We'll prove it. I'll see you next week in the ring.
Because they will never, ever tear us up. That's one of those songs that I could listen to on repeat.
Boom, 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 boom,
I love that
boom,
song.
boom,
Doom,
boom.
doom, doom, doom.
That sax comes in.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. Anyways, after that, we had Nick Aldis knocking on Seth and Cody's locker room. They had both their logos.
Yeah, on 2 door sides.
Yeah.
Like 2 doors into one locker room. Yeah.
Right. And then he pokes his head in and he's like, "Where are they? They're not in there." And then the security guy's like, "I don't know." And then they all go to figure out where they are. Well, where they were was like the concourse because they're about to make their entrance. But
they were like, "Hey, we got this long talkie segment. There's a lot of entrances.
Let's go to a hot dog
to wait through. Hot dog, nachos.
Hot dog." He's like, "Rock, I've got something to say to something to you." Rock's like, "God damn it." It smells like a hot dog.
He probably says your butt cheeks stink. Cody.
Inside of your mouth smells like a strudel. Smells like a hot dog. He starts like grabbing his dick. Anyways, the Bloodline comes out versus Roman.
Oh, my goodness.
The Rock's out next.
Oh, yeah, that new Tron is great.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
dude,
pretty cool.
I will almost guarantee you, he had that idea for when he was going to Black Adam the Universal title.
Oh, maybe.
That shit comes off such like Black Adam's like lightning powers and stuff. I only saw like half the movie because it was boring as fuck. But like, it looked really cool though. And the Rock standing there.
Yeah, he's silhouetted behind the light from the lightning bolts.
Yeah,
on the Tron. It's cool. Pretty great.
So, anyways, Roman asks for the mic. Heyman hands it to him. Roman says, "Dallas, Texas. Greatness stands before you now." And he looks over at the Rock, offers his hand. Does the thing. Probably like this. Yeah, there you go.
Again, he needs the validation.
Yeah. And then he says, Roman says, "Acknowledge us." And the crowd kind of tepidly does. That brings that quote. I never know now if the crowd is chanting Rocky or Cody. I'm always trying to. I'm like, do I hear a?
It's probably a mix of both, and that's why it's hard to discern what's being said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ E here in a YouTube chat says Black Adam actually had a decent soundtrack. Was it as good as the Batman Forever soundtrack? Probably not. That was a banger soundtrack right there, man.
One. Or the Crow soundtrack.
And Seal. Oh, the Crow soundtrack. What about the Judgment Night or Judgment Day?
Judgment Night
soundtrack.
Yeah. That was great.
Get out of here with your Black Adam soundtrack. If it's not the Crow or Judgment Night. I'm joking.
So anyways, Cody's music hits. So they're all looking around. The Bloodline, where are they? Because there's no Cody coming down the ramp. They got his steam, the pyro, all that. And then he starts walking down through the crowd. And then somewhere else, Seth is walking down to the crowd, through the crowd. We go to commercial. We come back. They finally make their way down to the ring. We have a stare down. Cody, Seth on one side, Rock, Roman on the other. Crowd starts singing Seth's song. Cody says, "I know it's a little tense. A lot of bad blood, but being honest, I feel very lucky to be standing in this ring. I think perhaps the four of us should take a moment to feel this right here, sold out Dallas, Texas."
Mm-hmm.
So we get another stare down. They're really milking the moment. Cody chants, and Cody says, "Rock, I've heard your challenge. I've heard the stipulations that come with this tag match. I got to ask, do you have the authority to make that stipulation? The stipulation? I mean, I'm only asking because I think it was last week that you acknowledged your tribal chief. I think we cut through all this. You wanted an answer face to face. So here's her answer." And The Rock says,
"Now you shut your mouth right now. You shut your mouth. And you walk in clown show, you shut your mouth before you even start talking." Oh, I laughed so hard when he said that. He says, "And you shut your mouth before you say something stupid. Before you accept this challenge in front of the world, let The Rock drop some gospel on your punk ass. The Rock acknowledged him as a tribal chief because of what family does. WrestleMania, night 1. Let The Rock reiterate. If you two beat The Rock and Roman on night 1, then on night 2, you'll be free of the bloodline. You'll be free. You'll be free to achieve that story and the dream of your dad, who I love so much." When The Rock and Roman beat and the crowd starts chanting diarrhea, Seth starts laughing and Rock waits it out. "Now, when Rock and Roman beat both of you on night 1, then it's bloodline rules, which means The Rock will do anything and everything in his power to make sure you do not walk out Universal Champ. That said, do you accept?"
And then Seth says, "Will you shut the hell up? For once in your life, will you shut the hell up? We know the stakes. The future of the industry is on the line. We get that. But you listen to me, and you listen to me good, Mr. Midlife Crisis. You had your time. You damn sure can't have ours. You want our answer? We accept.
So then Roman, I'm being the Bloodline segment here. Roman laughs. You just gonna let him answer for you? You must be an idiot. You must be from Texas or something. You gonna let this cross-dresser make decisions for you? Understand this is your future right here. When I beat you at WrestleMania on Sunday, that's it. As far as I'm concerned, you don't get another shot. It's over. It's done for you now. I love Roman's laugh. So The Rock says, it is over, and let The Rock tell you something and tell you something, you walking clown emoji. It goes down like this. The Rock will do everything in his power to make sure you don't win, and make sure that title goes away. I'm the director of the board at TKO, which means he's your boss and your boss. Cody, listen to The Rock. With everything in The Rock's guts, if you do not complete this story, you don't win. You'll never, ever get a shot at this again. You run your mouth. Listen, look in The Rock's eyes. He takes off his sunglasses. No, actually, he doesn't take off his sunglasses. We look at The Rock's eyes. This is family. Roman's grandfather looking down is proud. The Rock's grandfather, the High Chief, is looking down, and right now your dad, the American Dream, is looking down. Isn't it true that you're the youngest of the three? Isn't it true that your sister was a cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys? Yeah, that's right. And isn't it true that your brother's a future Hall of Famer? That's right. And you're 20 years younger than your siblings. And you know why? Because you were a mistake. So Cody's beside himself. He's like...
But he tries to collect himself to say something because he actually brings the mic to his mouth.
Yeah.
Like he's going to say something. Then whoop-ha, slaps him.
Slaps him. So The Rock sort of smiles, throws his mic aside as Smackdown goes off the air.
Yep.
Scene.
Yep. I was not real. I did the cross-dresser line from Roman. No.
Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be, if that's like an offensive thing or not. I really don't know. I've seen people like express some amount of it. I don't really know. So, I don't know. It is what it is.
That was SmackDown.
That was SmackDown.
Let's
talk about AEW Collision. Oh, actually, before we talk about Collision.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Friendo Club setup.
Let's talk about the Friendo Club setup. We just got through the Tribal Chief setup, the Rock setup, the Director of the Board setup. Well, we've got our own setup here at Friendo Club.
That means you're the boss. You have the Director of the Board setup.
That means you're the boss. You own everything, right? However, over here at Friendo Club, we got the Friendo Club setup. That's right. Bonus episodes just today. We dropped a new edition of Friendo Cast. It's Friendo Cast number 5 Alpha because we forgot about number 5.
We didn't forget. We just skipped it.
I went from 4 to 6 is what happened.
Yeah, it just got
skipped. That's on me. So we've got that today on Friendo Cast. We talk about the demise of Rooster Teeth. And I titled this one, The Harsh Reality of Digital Media.
It's a good name.
And I feel like it's kind of a conversation we only merely scratched the surface on because like I feel like we could have talked a lot more about.
Did you see our former Machinima colleague, Joel Rubin, had a extensive write-up on digital media, online entertainment? Did you manage to catch?
I read the entire thing. I reposted it on the Twitter because it was a very good read.
It's a great read.
And even that I felt sort of scratches. The concept these days of, and we're going to get to Collision in a second, but the concept of digital media and almost the necessity of considering it non-permanent, given that media can just, and honestly, like, we think that, okay, a lot of people, you get a streaming app and you get access to that content, that shit can disappear too. Look at what they're doing over at Max.
Yep.
And so that's an interesting conversation to be had. And we barely scratch the surface of that, but we talk a lot about Rooster Teeth and you know, the influence of them on our careers. So yeah, it's some interesting stuff. We go a whole hour talking about that, answering a bunch of non-wrestling questions. It's all part of the Friendo Club setup. It's bonus episodes you get. You also get access to question threads, and you get access to the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. I'm going to debut this here. I actually debuted it on the MF Steve Shear stream because I just got this in the mail, but it's going to Muted Mayday. It's the prize now for winning the Big Blue Predictions Championship, and I think I'm going to customize a little bit different every time we get a new winner.
Are we going to sign it still? For every winner.
I mean, we can ask them. Like, I don't want to be as intrusive about the Cameron Shank one, but maybe we can sign it like
the bill of the hat.
Right? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. But here's the hat. It's the Big Blue Predictions Champion hat. Look at that right there.
Hey, for the WrestleMania one, you should do it Eagles green instead of blue.
Oh, there you go. So it'd be Big Blue, but it'd be in green.
Yeah, but it's kind of a bluish green, a little bit.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see about that because they have a limited number of actual like colors of the embroidery cloth here. So yeah, it's
There's that too. Yeah, you could do that.
It's the big blue hat that you get if you win the predictions challenge. You only get it if you go one of two ways. We offer the Friendo Club setup. Patreon.com/Stephen Larson, $5 a month gets you the Friendo Club setup, or click join right here at YouTube.com/Stephen Larson. You can get the Friendo Club set up there as well. And if you win the big WrestleMania predictions challenge, you'll get your own customized Big Blue Predictions Champion hat. So There you go.
We got a couple super chats here from Nate. Says, this one's from Nate. So I just want to say thanks, guys. Today is going to be painful for me. I have to put down my 6-year-old bulldog. Had as a puppy, so you're my distraction for me losing it, even if for 1 hour. Well, our condolences. And we're here to help. Hopefully we can for at least an hour distract you from all that, because losing a pet, it's awful. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Eastside Review here says, "Got to admit, it's weird seeing anything on a WWE mat. WCW did this too, but it's weird seeing a logo in a WWE ring." Just got one here from Marquez. So I can't stand this Jericho CMLL chain of matches he's having. He talks about what it all means to him since he started there, but then he just buries their young talent.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Heading into Collision, the CMLL thing is sort of not really hitting for me because I just don't know really what like.
There's not a cohesive story behind it. It seemed like there was going to be when they were feuding with the Blackpool Combat Club, but that kind of just fizzled. And now I guess, have they had the match at Arena Mexico yet?
I haven't heard of it, so I don't think it happened.
I don't think so. No. But then you have Titan, who is a champion at CMLL.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't be taking losses.
No.
He's
there. They have a lot of championships, though. They've got a ton of belts.
I understand that. That being said, he's their world welterweight champion. I think that's what they said. He shouldn't be eating losses. Before we get to Collision, we're trying to get subscribers, namely 201,102. We're about 300 and change off, 370 or so. So if you're watching, haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, that notify bell, so you're notified of all our new content. We got a minimum of 5 new podcasts a week. Also, while you're pressing buttons, hit that like button. This one looks like a thumbs up, just like that. We got 634 people watching right now here live on YouTube, yet only 133 likes.
What the hell? What are you guys smoking? My goodness.
50%. So please hit that like button. We like to be liked. We like our content to be liked. Give us the validation we so desperately crave. Please hit that like button.
Please. We need it. It fuels us. We need it. Anyways. So yeah, Collision. The CMLL stuff, like I said, wasn't really hitting for me. I like the Danielson Ospreay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought the Danielson Shane Taylor match was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really good too. Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, I like, they're setting up Ospreay Danielson at Dynasty, which is in about a month and a day from now. That shape
is 21st, not the 12th. 21st.
I thought it was 12th. Like, little, I don't have dyslexia, but it seems like I did the thing there. Anyways, April 21st. Yeah. So that's shaping up to be a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, you kind of knew the whole issuing of the challenge was going to come down to like who's best wrestler. It's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
You got 2 guys who have been mentioned or are currently mentioned in conversation for best wrestler in the world, and both out to prove it. This match is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. It's going to be good shit.
It's going to be fucking outstanding. It really will be. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, and it's interesting given that Ospreay doesn't have like a lot of experience with like the way American
wrestling is presented. Yeah.
Cable television wrestling is presented. He was super smooth on the mic, man. Like he knew how to work that crowd, and he looked good doing it.
He looked and sounded comfortable, completely comfortable. I want to talk about this because I thought this was wildly entertaining, even though it was short. The new Elite, Young Bucks, Okada, made their in-ring debut against John Cruz, Liam Gray, and Adrian Alanis. And it was maybe 2 minutes. And in terms of establishing kind of like the final boss nature of Okada, I thought it did a pretty effective and entertaining job of. I think Nick was in the ring first. Okada's like, no, tag me in.
Yeah.
And so Okada wrecks John Cruz, points to Alanis, says, you tag in next. He wrecks him, sends him into his corner, tells Liam, you tag in now, hits him with a Rainmaker to get the win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was really awesome. I like what they're doing with him so far. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't feel like getting a big name like Okada. You'd think there'd be like a lot of pressure to be like, oh my God, we got to make sure that we nail this. And instead, it just sort of seems like they're having fun with it. And as long as you keep him this like absolute monster in the ring, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
And I really like what they're doing with them so far.
Did you see the backstage thing with Okada and the Young Bucks?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It was pretty solid. They got good chemistry already. So.
They do. They have good chemistry. It looks like he's there to have a good time, and I like that.
And that's going to translate 1,000%. We had the return of Pac.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is going to be a match and a half right there, man.
Yeah.
That
him
when
versus Okada. Heck yeah.
Because they've got. I'm assuming they're setting that up for Dynasty.
You'd think so. Saving Eddie and Okada. For Double or Nothing, maybe.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out. Because there's still the weird thing about Eddie with those titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he leaves New Japan, and now he's going to be the New Japan Strong title guy? Or are they just... Are they... Is Eddie showing up for New Japan Strong? I haven't heard anything about Strong lately.
I haven't either. So I don't know.
Is that a thing still?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because if Okada wins the Continental titles, then he's got to like at least show up on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
And he's got to be on Ring of Honor pay-per-views?
Yeah.
He seems too big for that stuff.
He does, but if you're going to try to get people to tune into Ring of Honor programming, then okay, you have Okada be involved. I get it.
I mean, you think that's really like a priority of theirs?
It doesn't seem like it, but
I wouldn't do that shit. I'd keep him far away from Ring of Honor. It's like their developmental brand.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I don't know. And then there was the main event, the big street fight thing,
which was fun,
where Mark Briscoe got put through a flaming table.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
It was done safely, and as soon as he was through, Malachi was like, "All right, you're fine. Get you in the ring. Get you away." They
started,
the table.
I like that they powerbombed him in there, and they immediately both started patting him down.
Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, now if I win this, do I get singles?"
Sorry, Malachi, no singles match for you.
Doubtful. Outlook not likely.
Show kicked off with Bryan Danielson versus Shane Taylor. This was great, hard hitting. Some of those chops that Shane Taylor was dropping on Danielson were loud.
Dude, his chest was gnarly afterwards.
Yeah. I'm happy Shane Taylor's getting a lot of TV time. We'll see him get some wins, please.
I think they
doing awesome work.
They might make a dent in the tag team tournament.
Maybe he and
they
Moriarty
might win a
Could
match.
Be.
They might win a match.
I'm curious how large the field is going to be.
What do we got so far? We got the Young Bucks, probably definitely FTR. We got the Infantry.
We got Best Friends.
Probably Blackpool Combat Club.
You think so?
Probably.
Yeah.
Shane Taylor Enterprises, probably.
Promotions.
I never get it right.
That's 6, so at least 2 more.
6. There's plenty of
Phoenix. I don't know what Phoenix's status is. Otherwise, you'd think
Top Flight.
Maybe. Yeah, probably Top Flight.
Probably Top Flight.
Yeah. That would be 7, so at least 1 more.
And then one more.
Private Party.
8. Oh, Private Party. That's right. Yeah. Probably.
I have Private Party in there. Anyways, really fun match. Danielson gets the win with a D+. Go check it out. And then Will Ospreay comes to the ring, grabs a mic, and asks for another to give Danielson, which he does. And then he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the match we just saw, give a round of applause for Shane Taylor and Bryan Danielson. It's so incredible watching your work, the amount of years you've been doing this, and you're still performing at the highest levels. In the short time that I've been here, I've noticed a lot of things. I've noticed the sandwiches backstage are lovely. Shout out to the catering sandwiches. But the thing I noticed is that when you walk up and down these hallways, everyone looks at you like," I don't know what he said because it was beeped out, so he must have cussed. "That's Bryan Danielson. You set the standard. Your enthusiasm for pro wrestling is infectious. You've inspired me. You've inspired so many people. For everyone here that just loves pro wrestling, you are owed so much. On behalf of everyone, thank you so much for what you've done. But
you cheeky little slag. You interrupted me during my main event segment on Dynamite So I've got this warm feeling in my belly. Maybe, Mr. Danielson, you have something you want to ask me.
So Danielson goes, that's half right. I have something I want to ask you, and I have something I want to tell you. First, welcome to AEW. Secondly, I saw your match you had with Takeshi at Revolution. Not only did you win, but that was one of the best damn matches I've ever seen. But I also listened to you at the media scrum after, when you said for years, you've been screaming into the camera about how you're the best wrestler in the world, and you came here to prove it. Well, I want to give you a chance to prove it. What do you say? Danielson versus Ospreay at Dynasty. What do you say? And what does Will say?
Yes, bruv. Love Will Ospreay. Love that shit.
So booked, made official.
Booked. Done. Eric Clark here says in the main event there they used the wrong lighter fluid because it didn't go out.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want that kind of lighter fluid.
Yeah. Bad lighter fluid.
That's the bad lighter fluid. Then we got the Young Bucks and Okada taking on John Cruz, Liam Gray, Adrian Alanis. Already wonder what happened in this match. But after New Elite get the win, they're posing in the ring. Then Eddie runs down to try to attack him. The Young Bucks spot him, trying to do the sneak attack, fend him off. Penta runs to the ring. He hits a bunch of sling blades, except for on Okada. Misses it. Okada hits him with an air raid crash, and he picks up the Continental Crown and holds it over Eddie, and that's when Pac's music hits. The building erupts. He comes to the ring, takes out the Young Bucks, and steps up to Okada. And they start trading forearms. Pac hits Okada with a series of kicks, a German suplex, and he's going for like a lariat or something. Young Bucks pull Okada out of the ring, and Pac grabs a mic and says, "Gentlemen, I'll make this very, very clear for you. The bastard's back, and I promise you I'm just looking for trouble. So if it's trouble you're after, you're clearly barking up the correct tree. You want some. Now you reap what you sow." And so Eddie takes the mic and says, "Hey, big business in Boston next week, 6-man tag. See you there."
Yeah. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun.
That'll be really fun.
Another win for the New Elite.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Darby Allin video package, followed by Mariah May versus Trish Adora. This is a good match. Mariah May gets the win here with a Mayday. Toni Storm comes to the stage. She's dressed in what looks like red carpet Oscar attire.
Yeah.
For good reason, because she's
Mariah
there.
May is still in Toni Storm's old.
That's right. Yeah, she's doing the Toni Storm gimmick still. Yeah. So she says, "I'm here to present the first annual Tony Awards." That's Tony with an I, so we don't get sued. "This award represents the outstanding achievements in the field of professional wrestling performance. The nominees are, for their performance of Toni Storm at AEW Revolution, Mariah May. And the award goes to," it's like Al Pacino up there.
Yeah.
My eyes say Mariah May. Yeah. So Mariah celebrates in the ring. Tony walks down the ramp to present her with a shoe, but Deonna rushes out, takes the shoe from Tony, clobbers her with it, and then May runs to the ramp to make the save, hits Deonna with a DDT on the ramp, and Tony presents her with the award.
Yep. It's good they're seemingly continuing the Tony Deonna feud because
good stuff.
It has been good stuff so far. Then we got a Chris Statlander Riho recap from Dynamite. Willow's got a match with Riho at Big Business, I believe. And then we got Nick Wayne versus Adam Priest. So Nick Wayne wins with the Wayne's World. And then Christian's walking around ringside and rips a sign away from a fan sitting there with a luchador mask. Well, that fan pulls Christian over the guardrail, unmasks. It's Copeland. It's
Cope.
So they're brawling through the crowd a little bit. He eventually grabs the TNT title and looks like a guitar case or something. It's about that
It says
size.
Spike on it.
And Spike is written on it. He slides both of them in the ring. So Christian tells the patriarchy to surround the ring. So they do. And then Cope opens the case in the direction of Christian. And Christian sees it. It's like, oh, all right, fall back, everybody. Fall back.
They've got the upper hand now.
They retreat up the ramp.
And we're all like, what's in the box?
I know. What's in the Spike box?
Yeah, it's a head.
What could it be?
It's a head, a human head.
Flamethrower.
He's like, where'd he get that head from? Whose is that?
That's kind of a weird shape. I don't think a head would fit in that box, Steve. It seemed a little thin.
An arm.
Yeah, maybe. A leg. Yeah.
Different limb. Every week it's going to be a new limb.
Different limb. It's a bazooka in there for all we know. We don't know what's in it.
Well, it says Spike. I'm assuming it's some sort of sharp object.
It'd be kind of a little on the nose there. You have a giant spike in this box and you just have Spike written on it. Where's the
Dude,
where's the
it's
suspense?
Adam Copeland. I mean, it's not, it's not the Riddler. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know, man. It's probably some sort of weapon. Maybe it's the thing that they killed Abyss with. You've seen that clip floating around Twitter of Abyss with the, it was like just a 2x4 with a bunch of nails and it was like stuck in his back.
Yeah. Oof. So
it's the rights to Spike TV.
Oh, maybe. So Cope grabs the mic and says, "Get your stupid little mouth ready to say 2 words. Toronto, Dynamite, TNT title, Cope versus Cage 3, 2 words, and you know them, I quit."
So that's where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
On this day.
I see clearly.
He's going to be TNT champion, him and Spike.
Got a case labeled Spike.
It's maybe, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a leprechaun named Spike. It comes out, oi, where's my pot of gold? Did they CG it? It's like a weird CG thing.
Oh my gosh.
Poorly CG'd.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, where he's got like a shillelagh or whatever.
Yeah. Oof. Anyways, after that, we had an interview with Mark Briscoe, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal. So Alexi asked him, Mark specifically, about strategy for their match against House of Black, but Jeff Jarrett interrupts, says, "You know, Lexi, like we say around here, Saturday night is all right for fighting. The whole world is talking because can Mark Briscoe trust Jeff Jarrett or can Jeff Jarrett trust Mark Briscoe? Mark, I'm going to tell you this man to man. You don't have to worry about trusting me. All you got to trust is that I'll do any damn thing to win the street fight tonight." And Jay Lethal says, "Let me tell you what. I trust you, Jeff, and I trust you, Mark. Hopefully, you both trust me." Yes.
I want to do Mark Briscoe.
Go ahead.
Because then he goes, "Jay Lethal, you know I trust you. We're about to go to war. Let's do this. Jeff Jarrett, I know you're a dog. Let's go do this thing. Let's go." That shit crack. Jay Lethal. I love that shit. He's so good.
He is. Then we got Chris Jericho taking on Titan.
Titan.
Titan's in LIJ, I believe.
Tranquilo.
Another reason he shouldn't have lost to Chris Jericho.
Tranquilo con Titan.
Yeah, Titan shouldn't have lost this match. Chris Jericho won, though.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. Like it's just sort of this weird like vacuum of Chris Jericho versus CMLL people.
I know. Now, if he was like a heel Chris Jericho and cheating to win these matches because they were building to him like versus Mystico, you know, who's being presented as like top guy in CMLL. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then Mystico gets the win over Chris Jericho. I get it.
Well, okay. Also, though, if they had fed somebody to Mystico that was like of a higher prestige in AEW than Angelico, or Angelico, whatever his name is, I think it's Angelico.
Well, they were saying Angelico on commentary last night, but I think the entire existence in AEW prior there it was Angelico. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but then like not Shivani, somebody like I forget who it was. Was Shivani on commentary last night?
Yeah, it was just Shivani and Nigel because apparently Kevin Kelly got fired.
That's right, he got fired.
According to
all because he really wanted to defend that movie. Apparently, that's crazy.
I know.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy a little bit. Like he just seemed like he was drowning there, you know. But then you can't say, you know, like, you're going to die on that hill, buddy, you know?
I know. And then
That's
go after
horrible.
Ian Riccaboni on Twitter about it.
Bro, you can't do that.
You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's bad news there for Kevin Kelly. But yeah, like, back to my point, if they were to have fed somebody of a higher stature, of Titan stature in CMLL.
Oh, agreed completely.
But they fed Mystico and Helico. Good wrestler, but like not really seen too often.
Barely on TV. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not saying there is a story here. I'm saying if there was a story, it may make sense if Chris Jericho was beating all the CMLL talent, if it was leading to a match against, for example, Mystico.
Yeah, right.
But yes, you'd have to have that parallel where Mystico was beating regularly featured, highly successful AEW talent. Yes.
Yeah, right. In a collision.
It was a collision course, exactly.
Yeah.
So in the end here, Titan looking for a Rana. Jericho catches them, locks on the walls of Jericho. They try to call this the Lion Tamer, but it was there's a difference between the walls of Jericho and the Lion Tamer, and this was the walls of Jericho.
Walls isn't a walls like both legs are
walls
there?
of Jericho is pretty much just your standard Boston Crab.
Yeah, right.
Whereas the Lion Tamer is like Roderick Strong's Stronghold.
Yeah, you have like a knee.
It's a
on
higher
the back,
angle,
don't you? Yeah.
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 Well, anyways, afterwards, Gates of Agony rush in to attack Jericho. Hook makes the save. So Hook and Jericho have a match against Gates of Agony. I don't know if that's in the tag tournament or not. I don't recall.
Oh gosh, boy, they'd have to expand that field by double if that's a team. Anyways, after that, we had another FTR interview. They get a lot of promo time on Collision. I don't know why. They never say anything.
No, I know. And it was pretty much we lost at Revolution, and Dax is like, oh, I'm having some self-doubt. Do you deserve to be in tournament?
It's like, what are you talking about? You're like one of the winningest tag teams there are. Of course there is. Of course you're going to be in it. So anyways, that brings the infantry out. Sean Dean says, for those who don't know us, they say that we're the most dynamic, most popular, most handsome, the flyest, the coolest tag team there is. I go by the Captain Sean Dean, and I'm actually really glad they introed themselves because, like, I know about the infantry, but I don't watch the other programming that, like, probably on Ring of Honor. I don't know.
Yeah.
He says he's Bad News and Tattoos Charlie Bravo, and together we make up the infantry. Now that we're in Atlanta, right? This is where we call home. So if Atlanta, you're rocking with the infantry, we can go. We can do a hoorah.
Can we get a hoorah?
Can we get a hoorah? So they got a hoorah, Oppenheimer, yeah. So Bravo takes the mic and he says, everybody know the facts are facts and cap don't cap. Cap means lie. He says, to be honest, we almost didn't make it. They were doing half off down at Magic City tonight.
That's got a good response from the crowd.
They got a Magic City chant. He says, I'm sorry, listen. The reason we came out here is because we respect you guys and we love you. We really respect you guys and respect everything you've done in the tag division. We wanted to come out and tell you guys that when it comes to the tag tournament, may the best team win. They all shake hands. And then Bravo says, because we're coming for your spots. This way we can give this tag division what it needs. A revival. And then Dax says, it's real cute and edgy. The revival's dead. And we're going to meet you in the tournament. You will be too. So, yeah.
Then we got a video package for AEW. Big business.
Big business. Big dummies.
Mystico versus Angelico. Mystico gets the win here with La Mystica. It's like a Fujiwara armbar finisher. And then we got our main event, House of Black taking on Mark Briscoe, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal in an Atlanta street fight. This went all over the place. It was a lot of fun.
I trust you, Jeff Jarrett. You a dog.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of crazy spots towards the finish. Brody's looking to powerbomb Mark through a table set up ringside, and then Buddy comes over and pours lighter fluid all over it. Malachi's about to light it, but then Sanjay Dutt hits Brody in the back with a guitar. Brody no-sells. Buddy follows Dutt up the ramp. Julia Hart walks out with the thing you keep in your trunk with the extra gas in it in case you run out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so Buddy starts pouring gasoline all over Sanjay. And then Julia has a lighter and is threatening to light him on fire. So Karen Jarrett comes out through the face tunnel, low blows Buddy, and then Sanjay shoulder tackles him off the stage through a table. And then Julia low blows Sanjay and then miss Karen Jarrett, so she goes running back through the tunnel.
Yeah.
So we're back down at the ring. Brody chokes out Jay Lethal. Jarrett hits him in the back with the guitar, sending him through a table set up ringside. Malachi then hits Jarrett with a black mass. Julia hands Malachi a spike. He tries to ram it at Mark's head. Mark blocks, hits a J driller. Mark picks up the spike. Julia grabs him by the ankle. So then Mark knocks Malachi to the floor, leaps off a chair, but then he's caught by Malachi and Buddy, powerbombed on the apron. Julia lights the table on fire. Malachi and Buddy powerbomb Mark through it, make sure all the flames are out, put him in the ring. Malachi covers to get the win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. We got a Raw preview tonight. You want to talk about that before we
got Raw tonight? Yeah. First up, Intercontinental Champion Gunther to face the winner of so it's the Gauntlet match. The Gauntlet match,
yeah.
First hour of Raw, right? Whole first hour?
Either first or second. But yeah, it should be. It should last.
I'm saying it should be an hour of Raw.
Yeah, it should be an hour of Raw. Absolutely.
Cool. Liv Morgan is on a collision course with the man. That means they're going to have
match. Indeed. And then, sorry, I clicked over to something else. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Oh, challenging. Asuka and Kyrie for the women's tag titles.
Oh, that's happening tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, that's tonight.
I wonder. I don't think Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark's going to win this. But
I don't think so either.
I don't know. They're sort of the strongest tag team. If they were going to do a trios and they didn't want and they wanted the tag titles to be defended by some other team, because they got kind of a loaded division right now.
Yeah, Bailey cost Asuka and Kyrie the tag titles.
Yeah,
and then
maybe.
Do the 6-woman tag match at Mania? That
Maybe.
Could be.
Possibly. Anyways, would you like to answer some questions?
Let's do it. Chris Stanton here says, have you guys ever thought about having a Friendo award for most content of yours watched? Not sure if there's a way for you guys to track that per user on your end. There's not.
There's no way to track that.
There's no
I
way
would
to
not
track that.
advise anybody to try, because then people will like just watch too much.
Yeah, it says also Larson's an orange combo amp I spot behind you. Yes. It's the Crushed 60, I believe. That's what I got.
Crush.
Mr. Coffee says, is it a good idea to just bring back Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and replace the current Money in the Bank pay-per-view with something else?
No.
No, there's enough going on at WrestleMania.
I love Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view.
Same. One of the few stipulation-themed pay-per-views that should be an annual event.
I agree. Joe the Meme Maker says, who are some lesser known but highly influential or deserving of the Hall of Fame inductees that are not discussed? Who should be given a spot? Some lesser known, kind of interesting. Didn't Muhammad Ali? No. Yeah.
They announced today that Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that was today, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the U.S. Express.
Yeah.
That was
Barry
interesting.
Windham and Mike Rotunda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bray's getting in this year, I think.
Could be.
That would make some sense.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Is IRS already in?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Which he's one half of the U.S. Express, so he's going in this year. So
Is Wyndham going to be now a two-timer? Because wasn't he with the Horsemen?
yeah, I think so.
Or do they do a different version of it?
I think he went in
I
with
think
the
he was in it,
Horsemen.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they eliminated Oli. I think it was him instead of Oli. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Chambers says Shane Douglas. I agree. He'll never get in, though.
Yeah, he'll never get it.
The Click are running WWE.
Yeah, he's not. He's
He ain't getting in.
highly unlikely.
Yeah. So I don't have like a whole list of like who what do they call the legacy wing?
Yeah.
So like I'm assuming
There's a lot
like
of people on that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm assuming like the Gold Dust Trio's in there because they
I
like
think
basically
so, yeah.
invented fake
Yeah,
wrestling.
a lot of the wrestlers who were famous or noteworthy pre WWF are in via the legacy wing. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh man, that's DJ Fluffy asked us to do way too much. He says
right.
Cody pulls a Finn Balor, gets injured, relinquishing the title, the Raw after WrestleMania. Book the rest of the year for that championship. That is a lot.
That's a lot. So it'd be storyline where Cody's like, I've completed my story. I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Title.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would do that if he's not really hurt. Cat Dad 7 says, Larson, if you can go back in time, would you stop the Montreal screw job or Steve's interaction with the Undisputed Era?
I mean, that's my interaction with Undisputed Era has given us a whole like story thread for years now.
Some quality content. You got an interview with them. You got an intro that we used on the show for a spell.
A lot, yeah. And then on top of that, there's my whole like ongoing story of my own that I need to finish to get back to a WWE 2K event, even though I can't go because we got work here to do.
I know.
So even if they invited me, but
probably have to politely decline.
My one stipulation would be, we'll drive there to your headquarters.
Oh, yes.
On a day specifically for us to play your busted ass game. You fly Baron Corbin out. Cater with some Chipotle. Okay?
Oh,
I'm cool with Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle's
You don't
fine.
need to take us out to a fancy steak meal. Just Chipotle's fine.
Yeah.
But
some
we'll
chicken,
play your
some carne asada. That'd be enough for you?
Yeah. We'll play your crap ass game and make a lot of content and expose a lot of viewers to that busted ass game.
To the game, yeah.
We don't need to go to the Royal Rumble. Like, I'd love to go to the Royal Rumble. We don't need to go there. I don't like getting on planes.
No.
We need to be here for that. We own it all here.
Yeah.
But then we'll go to your place. We'll go to your headquarters. We'll play the dump ass game.
Dump ass now. See, but to get back to Cat Dead 7's question, like, the history of pro wrestling would be so drastically different. The Montreal Screwjob didn't happen.
That has to happen.
That kind of has to happen. As much as it sucked for Bret Hart, it kind of had to happen.
Yeah, it had to happen. What if you get there, you get back to 1997, which, oh, what a time. And and you're like, you go and you're like,
with the intent to stop it, but then you realize
it's a work.
Then it definitely has to happen.
You're like, Brett. He's like, hey, who are you? Like, I'm Larson. Yeah. And you're like, from a wrestling podcast. I've been sent back in time. I don't know any of these things right now. And you're like, listen, don't worry about that, Brett. Okay? Listen.
They're going to try to cost you the title in this match. Oh, I'm going to win. And he winks.
You're like, why are you winking? Do you have something in your eye? No, I'm totally going to win this match. Hey.
Like, no, you're not. They're going to try to they're going to screw you.
They're going to do a screw job like the 30s, like the screw job in the 30s in Montreal. Then that thing, Cornette came up with it,
and then Brett just laughs.
Yeah, I know they're going to do it. They're going to do this thing where I'm going to go to WCW and destroy him from within, and then meanwhile, Vince here, he's going to be like a big bad guy. You saying this is all planned?
Is this all planned?
Yeah, idiot. It's wrestling, of course. It's all planned.
You're like, my work is done here.
What stock do I invest in?
Oh, check out Netflix and Google.
Those aren't real things.
They will be, Brett.
And then he puts you in the sharpshooter, busts your leg for real.
Stands over me. He says,
fuck you, and then puts you in the DeLorean and he sends you back home. Fluffy Canuck says, you guys have probably seen the compilation clip of Austin Theory overselling the Stunner. My question is, who and what is your favorite oversell moment? Oh, it's the classic. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan.
Oh, this overselling moment in general?
Yeah. Well, I just went with a whole match.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked how Scott Hall, just in terms of Stunner sells, Scott Hall might be my favorite.
Oh, yeah. I could see that totally.
Because it was huge. He sold the hell out of it, but it wasn't over the top like The Rock would do at times. You know what I mean?
My favorite is probably, and I only know this because I did like a compilation reaction over at Wrestle Juice. Sergeant Slaughter. I don't think he understood what it was supposed to be. I think he thought it was supposed to be like a BFT. Yeah. Because when he sold it, like he spiked his head bizarrely. And it's like, how did he even do that? That's weird.
Yeah, I know. We kind of addressed that on the show. Luis says, apart from last year's WrestleMania main event, what other matches seemed like a bad result at first, only there to be a larger payoff down the line?
I don't know. Maybe Cena Rock won because they called it once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was going to be twice in a lifetime.
Yeah.
So maybe that one.
Yeah, maybe. You have to think about that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. What was a bad choice that ended up being a good choice?
Ended up being a good choice.
Let's see here.
D. Kyle says, besides Prime, what other snack or energy drink company not affiliated with WWE would you like to see on the ring canvas?
Funyuns.
Pringles.
Frito Scoops.
Imagine if Julius Pringle.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good.
Was in the corners.
But it's Julius Creed.
I
thought you meant, like, no, a dude shows up as Julius
But it'd
Pringle,
be like when they were doing the Colonel Sanders thing.
Yeah.
Except this time it's just Julius Creed as Julius Pringle. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Anthony F. Content here says, some of WWE's most featured wrestlers are pushing 40 or well over it. He mentions Ray, AJ, Finn, Sammy, Nakamura. There are more. If you could have any one of them for one night only perform as if they were in their absolute physical prime, who would you choose and who would they face? Probably...
Well, it'd be Ray.
Oh, my goodness. Ray at like 23 years old? Wow. Yeah, he was lightning quick.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Imagine Rey Mysterio at his prime, against Will Ospreay.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be
Kota
crazy.
Ibushi and Kota Ibushi's prime.
Ooh, that's not Kota Ibushi now. He's like having
banged up. He's really banged up.
30-minute matches on a literal broken ankle.
Yeah.
That wasn't good.
No.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Oh man. Oh wait, we got a couple things here. WS Fletcher's been a member for 59 months. My God, 59 months.
It's hard to believe you've been doing it that long. I know.
He points out Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Good stuff.
Potential for good stuff. Yes.
Okay. DJ Chicken here, member for also 59 months, says, is there going to be a revision of Rock's going in Raw math after WrestleMania?
I suppose we should get back to that show. We were supposed to do the Sid one like starting months ago. Maybe today I'll try to get that poll up for Sid, and then after that we can like do Rock or CM Punk or.
Okay. Sounds cool. Eastside Reviews says 2-time WWE Hall of Famers are Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Bret Hart, Hogan, Hall, Nash, X-Pac, and now Barry Windham. Thank you for the clarification. I say Barry Windham should now go in as just Barry Windham.
3 times.
He's got a Hall of Fame level career. First 3-timer.
First 3-time. Or X-Pac, of course, member of DX, member of the NWO, solo.
Oh, he should be a solo guy. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Larson, they're giving us cues now.
You can do that again, huh?
They're giving us cues. I can't do anything about it.